It's been over a year since Death Stranding, a game based on saving America, has been released. Since then, our world has changed. Just like the world of Death Stranding, people have been separated. We've been forced to adapt to necessary changes. We've been forced to spend more time alone, just like Sam as he made his journey across America. Death Stranding resonated with me due to what's been going on in the world, and that's why it matters so much to me now. It isn't because of the pre-release hype train, it isn't because of rose-tinted glasses, it's because the game helped me get through our ongoing pandemic. Death Stranding isn't for everyone, and that's okay. I'd be lying to you if I said it was for me during its release week. I actually dropped it due to it not originally clicking with me. It was a new experience for me because it was a game that I and many other gamers out there weren't used to at all. If there's a big takeaway from Death Stranding, it's that through playing this game, it helped remove the feeling of being alone during a time where it's really easy to feel alone. This is what Death Stranding means to me over 1 year later. From the moment Death Stranding was announced, just like most PlayStation fans, I instantly fell in love with it. The fact that we were being given this game where we didn't understand what was going on was legitimately interesting. In fact, it probably helped Death Stranding consistently have good marketing. As we got closer to Death Stranding's release, it was probably hard for most people to accept that Death Stranding was coming out as soon as it did. For the most part, Death Stranding truly did seem like it was going to be a next generation title because of how high in quality those story trailers were. Kojima genuinely did not mess around when it came to the insane production quality of both Death Stranding and their trailers that trickled in over time. The key thing that Death Stranding had going for it was the fact that there was a continuous mystery that only grew over time. Each trailer, regardless of the event it was showcased at, be it E3 or the Game Awards, created more questions and fewer answers. Nothing ever made sense, but regardless of that, I was still hooked to Death Stranding. There still seemed to be some sort of magic, something that kept bringing back that hype level whenever we saw it, and a connection continuously kept growing between my interest in Death Stranding. Some might even call it a strand. Kojima himself wrote us a small note before the release of Death Stranding, which stated, "Death Stranding is a completely new type of action game, where the goal of the player is to reconnect isolated cities in a fragmented society. It is created so that all elements, including the story and gameplay, are bound together by the theme of the strand, or connection. As Sam Porter bridges, you will attempt to bridge the divides in society, and in doing so, create new bonds or strands with other players around the globe. Through your experience playing the game, I hope you'll come to understand the true importance of forging connections with others." He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong about Death Stranding being a new type of action game, and he wasn't wrong about feeling the importance of forging connections with others. Death Stranding is more than a game. It's a necessary experience that happens to be perfect right now because of this pandemic. Strangely enough, the bond I have with Death Stranding was created during an absolutely awful time in the world. It's something I never knew I needed. From one side of the world to another, I grew to love the small interactions we had every time we've delivered a package at Sam. It was so satisfying to expand the chiral network, see other creations and small messages left by players, and more importantly, feel like I made a real impact in this digital world. I simply couldn't realize what I was missing out on when it first released, as I said earlier. More importantly though, just like in Death Stranding, you can feel how fragmented our real-world society is as well. Death Stranding means so much to me because in the real world, when I played it, and even now at the time of this video's release, society is fragmented. Through playing as Sam in Death Stranding, what I've learned is that it didn't matter how many connections he had in such a desolate and fragmented America. What mattered was that he was given a mission in which the world was literally put on his shoulders, but instead of the mission itself, it was the connections along the way that stood out the most in this game. Through the various yet limited interactions between Sam and characters such as Mama, or Deadman, or even Heartman, I began to realize how much more I should appreciate the people around me. Death Stranding had different consequences, sure. The world was nearly ending because of an event called Death Stranding. The dead are among the living, and there's a whole lot more to the game's story. However, seeing that on this monumental journey, the people that helped make sure he finished it stood by every step of the way. They continuously rooted for him. They made sure he never lost sight of the goal. They helped him along the way to ensure the mission was completed. In the beginning, Sam wanted nothing to do with that task and even shot it down initially. Despite that, he went through that hell of a task and even found himself creating what seemed to become actual friendships. We even saw how attached he became to BB, the one thing that was the strongest strand Sam had during all of Death Stranding. Meanwhile, this is the same Sam we're talking about that never wanted to do this mission anyway. This is the same Sam that initially walked away from the opportunity to save America. He overcame what felt like one of the longest journeys I've ever played in a video game. And more importantly, this game showed me that if you have the right people around, regardless of the task at hand, you could potentially overcome even the most difficult of tasks. These bonds or strands resonated with me in a way that actually made me count my own blessings. It made me appreciate where I am right now with my best friends in my life. I didn't expect that from a game like Death Stranding. I didn't expect for this journey to resonate with me to the point where I look back on it thinking how much of a positive impact it had on me during a time where it seemed like nothing positive was going on. I know, Death Stranding is just a video game. It shouldn't be this big of a deal to me or have that big of an effect on me. It's just that by the time this video is out, as our own world fails to get better, it makes me appreciate Death Stranding even more. It makes me appreciate that somehow, in some way, there was a game that happened to be the perfect puzzle piece I never knew I needed. It was like Death Stranding created this inner mechanism click for me that made me realize what I should appreciate more. There's such a sense of loneliness now in our world because of our ongoing pandemic. It's hard to go anywhere. It's hard to see any friends. It's hard to escape this awful reality. Death Stranding was that exact escape from this awful reality for me, and I should be thankful. When I completed Death Stranding, it made me realize that I needed to be thankful that there are people in my life right now at this very moment. There are people who are rooting for me. There are people who are rooting for you, the person watching this video as well. Those people might not say it, but I hope others begin to realize how important it is to verbalize these things to one another during these times. To you, the viewer right now watching this video, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for all of you. I genuinely hope all of you get through this pandemic safe and sound. I hope you achieve your dreams and spend time working on yourself so you can say the same things to others if you aren't already. To you, my friends who might actually watch this video, thank you for rooting for me. It means the world to me. Without you and without Death Stranding, I might not be here right now making this video. As for the best part of Death Stranding, along your journey when you update core stations to the chiral network, you gain access to other people's creations. It takes that likely blank part of America that you were in and automatically updates it with bridges, signs, ladders, and more that other actual people made. You can give them likes, you can put little emojis that other people can also react to, and they could do the same for you as well. This creates a simple yet fun social network that makes the game feel lively and positively allows people to indirectly interact with one another without ever seeing each other. I remember as I was playing this game, I would look forward to going on Death Stranding and seeing how many likes or reactions I would rack up just because my creations made other people's lives easier. This kept me pushing, this kept me playing, this made me think of how I can make other people's lives easier with various creations I can make through my own journey. In fact, on PS4, I made a full-on zipline system that connects Middle America to the end goal of where we need to reach for Death Stranding. I'd like to think because of this, I left my own positive set of strands in other people's playthroughs that motivated them to keep playing and pushing through the game as well. And it's crazy because I've never experienced anything like that before. This isn't an MMO where you're working to complete a boss together so you can all roll for rewards at the end of the dungeon. Death Stranding is a single player experience that is shared at the same time. When you connect to and expand the chiral network, your world is impacted instantaneously by the progress of other gamers. There were times where I'd build something even if I was already connected just because I simply thought this might make someone's life easier, or this might motivate someone else to keep pushing in Death Stranding. In some way, I'd like to think that my own efforts in that digital world weren't wasted because I'd like to think that other players use those creations too. Death Stranding as a whole will always be something that I'll always be thankful for. It's a game that will always be the first of its kind. It's a game that will always be special to my heart. The story is interesting, and I purposely chose not to touch it because I wouldn't do it justice. I also didn't want to spoil much about the story because I wanted people who both played and didn't play Death Stranding to hopefully watch this video. Death Stranding was there for me when I least expected it. It was a game I became obsessed with. It was a game that was a roller coaster of emotions towards the end. It was a game that I'm not sure anyone else but Kojima could have made. However, it's a game that will always have a strand connected to me. In a year where it's hard to find something positive because of our real life circumstances, Death Stranding made an unexpected positive impact on me. It created a sense of need, and it also managed to remove that sense of being alone. Through playing as Sam, I was motivated despite how hard that journey was. I even cared about BB enough to stop him whenever he'd cry. Granted, I did remove his voice from the PS4 controller when I played it because the voice sounded absolutely horrible. However, that didn't remove the fact that I still cared about BB and his connection to Sam as a whole. Yes, the beginning of Death Stranding was hard to get through, but I'd like to think that it was designed to be that way. It was designed to create this huge grind that'll make you appreciate the third chapter when you're given a reward that literally boosts your playstyle and motivation. To add to this, Death Stranding soundtrack absolutely helped boost this entire experience as well. Being exposed to Low Roar with songs such as Don't Be So Serious and I'll Keep Coming, or songs such as Asylum for the Feeling by Silent Poets helped this experience go even further. It's to the point where I still listen to these songs regularly and especially listen to them on rainy days. It's absolutely insane to think that somehow Kojima managed to perfectly pick when songs would play in this game. I will never forget hearing Don't Be So Serious for the first time or hearing I'll Keep Coming in the trailers. This impact all came from one game that turned out to become one of the most important experiences I may have ever had on the PS4 or PC. This isn't to take away from other Sony exclusives such as God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Dreams, and so on because they're all amazing. It's just that Death Stranding felt like it was more than a game. I am beyond thankful for this game and I'm so glad that somehow and in some way, Death Stranding managed to click with me. From delivering packages to flying through zip lines, Death Stranding is an absolutely fantastic game that's heavily resonated with me throughout this pandemic. There's times that I think about Death Stranding even after all of these months. I still think about how obsessed I became with this game and how excited I was every night thinking about the progress I'd make tomorrow. Death Stranding isn't like anything else, and honestly, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I wasn't playing another FPS game, another Soulsborne game, or another generic RPG. Death Stranding, being this standalone experience that's never been done before, makes it even more special than it needed to be, and because of this game, it helped me get through a part of our real-world pandemic. Tomorrow is in your hands. As always, I'm your host, Justin, otherwise known as IDontBeatGames, and I'm here to bring that nerd culture content right to your monitors. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you really enjoyed this video, hit that sub button. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, write a comment down below. Don't forget to keep it real with peace, love, and positivity.